Hello and welcome back to your mat. I'm Hannah from Tula Being Mindful Movement. Today's practice is an evening flow, which of course you can do at any time of the day, but it's going to be a great way for us to unwind, especially before bedtime. We'll be working particularly on the hips and also the lower back. I've chosen to bring a blanket into my practice today just to make it feel a little bit more snug and cozy. You might like to do something similar. Let's go ahead and start seated, and we're going to bring our left leg out towards the side. The right leg will stay bent. Don't feel that you have to be really wide with that leg. Just see if you can prop yourself up nice and comfy. You could always place an extra cushion underneath the hips so that you have a little bit more space through that long leg. And we're going to take a few little side sways here. So we're adding movement and breath together. Reach the left arm out towards that left leg. Take an inhale, reach the arm. Right arm up and overhead, find length through the sideways on the right side, and then sweep your way back up to center, and then take hold of your right knee with left hand, sit tall, inhale, and exhale, attempt to twist, look back behind you. And then we'll do that again. So sweeping your way diagonally towards the toes with the right hand, and then lifting your way up, sit tall. Take an inhale first, sitting tall and long, and then exhale, try to twist. Work with a breath that does feel compatible and flowing for you. Remember, things can be done slowly. We'll go for 2 more rounds. Once you have done your second round, you may have already finished. Go ahead and drape yourself in a forward fold over your right shin. That's where I'm heading in just a moment. Let yourself tumble forwards. After moving with breath, how does it feel to come through to a sense of stillness? Let the head tumble forwards. Is there any more room to topple forwards into? Where do you feel this most? What kind of feedback are you receiving in terms of sensation? And how is your thought relating to that sensation? No judgment here, just a sense of curiosity about that link of physicality and thought. And then begin to gently roll your way up to sit tall. We'll swap the legs over. So gently lengthening through your right leg, bending through the left. And we'll add those sways in. So again, you might be propped with something underneath the hips. We're doing about 6 rounds in total. So the side sway. Try to link a graceful, easeful breath with the movement in terms of how that might work for you. So it's not going to be exactly the same for all of us, but see if your movement can be led from your breath. And it might mean that you actually pause somewhere. It might be that it isn't a continual fluid movement. Maybe you're adding a sitting up tall as you inhale. I quite like to do that, like a little reset before a twist for the exhale. Some of you might just be sweeping a lot more fluidly, faster between the 2 poses. And maybe you're still with me. Maybe you're already forward folding. This is going to be my last one. And then over that front shin, we let ourselves tumble forwards once again. Maybe you notice different little pulls in the body on this forward fold. Is it possible for you to send an exhalation to any of those tight spots? There might be little parts of the body that feel like they're waving at you for attention. Send an exhalation of ease right there. And then slowly roll your way up. We're going to land onto our bellies now. So go ahead for a few breaths, resting forehead on the earth or back of the palms. And notice whether the breath has become restricted because you've landed onto your belly. Instead, could you notice the rise and fall of your body from the earth as breath pushes into the abdomen and lifts the body and then lowers the body? One more breath, staying with the sensation and movement of breath. And then start to lift yourself up onto the forearms here. Now this might be enough. You might not want to add anything else, but I'm going to invite a little lift outwards with my left knee. So start to drag the left leg out to the side. Now you might feel that this is too intense. It could be that just simply widening the elbows, lowering the heart a little bit more will give you a bit more freedom. You could always wedge something underneath the rib cage there, like a bolster. We're going to stay for about 1 more minute. Again, noticing feedback from the body. Again, sending an exhalation to that part of the body. If you're up for it, just for the last 3 breaths, perhaps widening the hands, lifting the heart even more. This could be far too intense. Do not feel that you have to go here. Last breath. Drop down to the forearms if you lifted. And I invite you to come through to child's pose. It might be that you'd like a little cat-cow first, but then settling to a wide-kneed child's. And just a couple more breaths. And then once again, we'll land onto our belly And we'll set up for the second side. Back onto the forearms, and if you'd like to add the right knee out to the side. Noticing any differences between the two sides without critiquing, without judging, just observing. Our yoga practice is a wonderful place to practice mindfulness, deep concentration without judgment. If you feel that you have the space to lift higher, hands wide, lift the heart even further, 3 more breaths. If this is triggering for you in any way physically, please do drop down lower. No need to add this. Once again, heading towards a cat-cow roll through the spine or straight into child's pose. We'll meet in child's pose in a couple of breaths. Perhaps choosing a wide-legged version with the knees wide, so that there's lots of room for the belly to expand and release between the thighs. And then we're going to flip onto our spine and grab a good couple of cushions. We want to lift the hips for a variation of supported bridge here. So I'm going to grab my bolster, and I'll grab a block because it might be a useful tool for some of us as well. So lowering onto your back, you want to bring the feet into the earth. Lift the hips high enough that you can scoot your pillows or your bolster underneath. This might be fine. You might want to just stay here. This could be the final variation. Or it could be that you start to lengthen through one leg and bend the other, grabbing hold of that knee and bringing it in. Now, it might be quite difficult to grab hold of this knee. If you happen to have a strap, you could always pull that around the knee. Or we could place something underneath the foot instead. And that can also be another way to help you in the pose. Don't worry about which leg you've chosen. Just lengthen one and bend the other. Adding a little extension and compression through alternative hip flexor area through the front of those hips. Stay for another 2 breaths on this side. Then we'll swap it over. I'm just going to pause with both feet to the earth. Feel a sense of grounding. And then go ahead and swap, changing sides. Lengthening through opposite leg and bending through the opposite leg. And again, just for a couple more breaths. And then land both feet. And this might be where you want to stay for the next minute. Or I'm going to invite you to bring both feet off the ground. Either knees are bent or straightened through the legs, lifting feet towards the ceiling. Allowing the blood, the fluid to draw down those legs. And allowing the blood and the fluid to draw towards heart and brain as the parasympathetic nervous system really starts to kick in now. And just last couple of breaths. And slowly lowering the feet once again towards the earth. When you're ready, you might just move pillows behind the back of the knees or completely remove them. We're going to head towards shavasana. Time for deep, nourishing rest. Depending how late you've done this practice in the day, it could be that you're able to literally slink your way into bed. Take an inhale through the nose, a generous sigh away. Bringing conscious awareness back to the space around you, back to your body. Notice the connection of body and earth as you start to add a little movement. Maybe it turns into a deep stretch. A roll to the side before you lift yourself up. We sit tall, resting palms on the thighs. A reminder of now. Connection towards yourself. Draw inwards, gently inquire, how do I feel in this moment? Create an allowing space for whatever may be there. Thank you once again for joining this evening's gentle practice. I bow to you. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope you enjoyed it. Please don't forget to like it below, subscribe to my channel, and hit the bell icon. Not only will this keep you up to date with my offerings, but will keep content like Tula being free and accessible to all.